obviously really, really frustrated and disappointed. Deep down inside, I think, you always feel that this day will come. You hope it's going to go on a tad longer, given the way that we've been able to play here and perform at home. So, yeah, just real disappointment in the way that the game unfolded. Our lack of ability to really jump on top of a team that not only here, but are having some difficulties. I thought we allowed them far too much space to express themselves, and in the end, it was costly.
We'll open the floor for questions. Coach, in the first half, your team was struggling through the midfield. By the second half, it improved slightly. What adjustments did you make, and do you think that your players lived up to those adjustments?
Yeah, look, I've got to shoulder some of the blame here. We played with three, what we would class as genuine midfield players. Mindset was to, try and control that midfield area and to get our wing-backs in more aggressive positions. And quite honestly, we just weren't able, in possession, to be effective enough to manage the ball well enough and move it sharply enough. And that ultimately set the scene for what we saw in that first period. I think the inclusion of Ake in the second period helped galvanise a more purposeful approach. But there are definitely some things over the last two games that need to look back at, need to digest probably a little bit deeper, certainly the footage of this one, and be a lot clearer in my mind as to maybe some of the steps we need moving forward to get back to that type of form that has given us a lot of joy.
Yeah, Gary, two probably less than ideal results back to back. Against San Jose, though, it felt like you were able to create plenty of chances and just couldn't finish. What similarities, if any, do you see between the two results, and where do you go from here?
Yeah, look, I think it's safe to say, and you're going to hear this multiple times, I'm disappointed. The players are very dejected in there, as you can well imagine. Not just losing a home game or losing our home run. It's getting beat. You get beat at home and it's a difficult time. It hasn't happened often. But now it has. It's hitting hard. I don't think we were good enough throughout the game really to have won it. We would probably have got out of jail if either of the penalty shouts had gone our way. As far as moving on from here, there's some pictures in the last two games that I think we'll all be very thoughtful about. There'll be a lot of discussion over the next couple of days as to what we need to do as a group to get back to that sharp level of play and that effective level of play. Kansas did a very good job today of stifling Hanny and CJ, who have been, very effective for us. And it's now down to me and the rest of the group to start to maybe ease some of that pressure and give them more of an opportunity. So it's a collective move. Of course, it'll fall in my lap to make that work. And make no mistake, the group will be in a mentally driven world throughout this week to start putting some of those things right. And with some of the experience in there, I think there'll be, some discussions that lead us in the right direction.
Gary, piggybacking a little bit on your answer to Ben's question, I don't want to be unfair to the rival for sure that they do their game, but is it fair to say that it was more what the Nashville lacked doing today than what the rival actually was able to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, look, the fact that they scored 2 goals, the first one I'd like to look at again. It's a free kick, a long way out. disappointed that it ultimately ended up in the back of the net. From where we were, it's difficult to see whether Joe was unsighted. It did skip. Was there a body working across the face of him? I don't know. But it was really in keeping with how we played in that first period. It was nowhere near the sort of level that we've produced here, that we've offered up here. The second goal, again, uncharacteristically allowing an opponent like Zusi, who's shown throughout his career, if you give him time and you give him space, he's got 2 excellent feet, and you know he's managed to pick his spot, but he's got plenty of time to do that on the edge of the box, which is, again, really out of character for the group. So, you know, I can't say that. Of course, there were mistakes made by us, and we weren't at our best. Was that because of the way they played? Was it just down to, you know, maybe mindset of some of the bodies out there? Was it the shape of the group? Was it the overall personnel? Honestly, I've got to look back at this. I've got to break down, you know, some of the facets of our game, because this isn't just about defending, possessional play and creation. There's an overarching view that I have, of course, of the dynamics of the group, and it's going to take me a little while to sift through the last 2 games and come up with some answers.
Thank you, Coach. We have time for 2 more questions. Team, go ahead.
Hey, Gary, when you play maybe not your sharpest first half, but look like you're maybe going to get out of there without any damage, and then they do get kind of a fluky goal, how does that affect you guys mentally going into the locker room and then obviously coming out of it? Does it impact you guys, or do you feel like it was just kind of maybe building to that?
Yeah, look, it's never a good time to concede. There's no doubt about that. I think the bigger, you know, focal point at the break was how we were going to make positive steps. What were the changes? What was the mindset going to be for the second period to try and take a more front foot approach? I think it took us a while to get into our stride, even in that second period. And, you know, to Claudio's question, the second goal, you know, was a real deflating moment, if you like, in that second period, because we'd had a good conversation and the guys were in a good place at half time. You know, it's not the first time we've gone behind and got ourselves back in a game. And I still felt 2-0 down. There was opportunity. I knew we had players to come into the game. But in the end, of course, you know, we left ourselves a little bit too much to do.
Great, go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, you touched on Ake's goal. Historically, you talked about wanting him to see him take that next step in terms of consistency. He gets the goal. Obviously, the offsides sequences, one involving Hani and the other one, obviously, the penalty. Do you feel like that's still the case in relation to that? When a team like Kansas City does, obviously, do their best to shut down CJ and Hani, do you think that he's progressing to be that third option for you?
For sure. Yeah, I'm delighted for him that he scored. You know, he does have quality. He's terrific ability. I think the last couple of outings that he's had, he's shown us more than maybe in 1 or 2 of the other opportunities that he's had, and he looks like there's a bit of appetite there. So the goal will do him the world of good. As far as the actual group goes, you know, there are things that I've got to think about with regards to individuals, the dynamic of the group, and of course, as we moved into the latter stages of the game, there were far more attacking pieces to that, and there's no doubt it freed up some area. We've been terrific at home for a long period of time, and there's no reason why we won't be again. The first period, and certainly some play last week, are food for thought. You know, we need to have an honest look, and whilst there's nothing crazy going on, I think we're part into the season now. We're in a good position in the season where, you know, I think we need to look a little bit deeper into what comes next.
I'm asking him about his thoughts on the game.
Yo creo que no fue un resultado que esperamos porque jugamos en casa y lo bueno para nosotros era sacar los 3 puntos, pero perdimos, hay que olvidarlo y pensar lo que viene, ¿no?
Drake?
Yeah, okay, did you were able to hit the goal? Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
In that time frame where it seems that Nashville is having the momentum, what's going through your head when the ref is starting to get involved with the penalty and the offsides?
Yo creo que primero fue una decisión, pero el partido era para nosotros, no puedo decir eso, porque fue un partido complicado, el rival estaba bien listo también y no aprovechamos de las ocasiones que teníamos y pues hay que olvidar, ¿no? Olvidar y pensar el partido que viene, es lo que puedo decir.
Más allá del resultado que se da, que no es el bueno que se buscaba, se vio como un Ake con una diferente confianza hoy, como algo diferente en ti. ¿Así te sentiste o simplemente una impresión que das hacia afuera?
De verdad, tenía esa confianza desde la semana pasada y ahorita físicamente estoy bien y creo que en este partido me sentía muy bien y tenía la cabeza lista para todo lo que viene y pues el resultado no fue bueno, pero sacamos, o sea, yo metí un gol que es bueno para mí, no bueno para el partido y el equipo porque perdimos, pero por mí es bueno y con la confianza voy a seguir así.
Yeah, okay, we've seen you come in late in games before, but haven't seen you play with next to CJ and Hani as much. How do you feel like that connection was with them?
Bien, me siento muy bien jugar con ellos, son jugadores que tienen mucha calidad y siempre han aportado al equipo, pero la decisión es del entrenador, ¿no? Es el que pone los jugadores y el que saca, entonces aquí andamos haciendo el trabajo cuando nos toca.
Well, okay, you mentioned to Claudio's question that the result is not what you wanted, but the goal feels good. Do you feel like scoring 2 goals in the past 4 games has helped you maybe build confidence toward the future here?
Y creo que los delanteros viven de los goles, ¿no? Entonces cuando un delantero mete el gol, se siente muy cómodo y como que tiene la cabeza arriba y con la confianza, ¿no? Entonces es así que me siento cuando meto un gol. Yo- Sí.
The question is, does that confidence help you fight for a space in the starting 11?
Yo creo que sí, porque siempre estoy trabajando y sigo trabajando, pero como acabo de decir, la decisión es del entrenador. Yo no puedo decidir si voy a jugar o no, entonces yo tengo que trabajar y es lo que estoy haciendo, trabajo nada más.